Hey guys, what's going on? It's been a while. Some of you know it's been a rough several weeks. I think for me and the family, we just suffered. It's been a couple losses, major losses recently, and we are processing that. And so naturally, that's been taking up a lot of time and space. And coincidentally, this movie was a harder watch for me than I expected in certain aspects because the ways it relates to these fresh losses. Did not expect that going in to see this movie, but as such, this is what's happening, and the attempt is being made to move with it as best we can. So with that, let's shift gears and get into this discussion on the latest Spike Lee joint, highest to lowest. Let's do it. So, this is the fifth collaboration between Spike Lee and Denzel Washington. I wouldn't say it's the best of their collaborations. It is solid. It's definitely look at nothing they've done is bad. So if you go back to Mo Better Blues, Malcolm X, what Inside Man, He Got Game, and then now this, every last one of those movies is solid. I think if you were to rank them, personally, my ranking would be Malcolm X is at the pinnacle, probably of those of all five of those collaborations. That's just an amazing tapestry of a film. And I think next to that, you probably would have, or just below it, you might have Mo Better Blues. Depends on who you are. I might put Inside Man just below that, just because it's such a thrilling piece of cinema with some killer performances from Jodie Foster and Clive Owen. Oh man, it's just and Denzel. It's a good. That's a good one. I need to watch that again actually. So I think Mo Better Blues might be number three, and then He Got Game. That between Mo Better Blues and He Got Game, that might fluctuate for me. And then highest to lowest might be last. I need to sit on it a little bit more. The point is, all five of their collaborations have been pretty solid. If you don't know about this movie, this is a reinterpretation, a reimagining of the 1963 film directed by Akira Kurosawa called High and Low, which is adapted from the novel King's Ransom. Just as an aside, I have to say I always love when filmmakers reference or can appreciate filmmakers that inspired them. Spike Lee's been very open about Kurosawa's original film, and having met Kurosawa and what that experience was for him, to be able to adapt a movie sort of inspired by that in conversation with Kurosawa's film, and by extension the King's Ransom novel. That must be cool for him, and it's cool as a film lover to see other filmmakers appreciating that kind of stuff, appreciating the lineage that they come from, of other filmmakers that inspired them. So that's pretty cool just to see. I like to see that here. If you know nothing about this story, Denzel Washington plays David King, who is a legendary music producer, is very successful. He gets embroiled in a kidnapping situation when his son is taken. But along the way, there is a case of mistaken identity, and David has to then make a choice between his professional ambitions or how he's going to handle the kidnapper. Is he going to pay the ransom or what? Because now what further complicates the situation is that the ransom money, paying that money would affect all of his personal obligations, his home, his business, everything. Everything is tied up in that. So you lose that money, you lose everything. What is he going to do? And so what ensues is a really thrilling story, really well acted, visually rich. I think it's definitely worth a look. That said, I had a few issues that came up for me that were, again, not major. They weren't major enough for me to knock the movie, but I think there were things that stood out to me that could have been smoother. The first thing that jumps out to me is the film's score. I'm not talking about the soundtrack. I do think the soundtrack is actually fairly strong, but the score that accompanies this film. Howard Drossen is responsible for the music of this film, and for the most part, it's a serviceable score. Having said that, there were a couple instances where there is a piano piece that plays. It's pretty up tempo, and the first time you hear it, it actually is not bad. It actually fits the. It seems like it works with. There is a sequence where they're trying to drop off the ransom money, and this is it's kind of it's moving. The scene is moving. There's a lot of movement happening, and you're on the subway. You're looking at train steps. There's a lot of stuff jumping off, and the music for the most part works there. My issue with that is that same piano piece or a rendition, a riff on that piece appears probably a little bit too much. I think in the film, there are certain sections where it doesn't feel like it matches. They might have a full-on chase sequence or even a outright fight sequence, and it might not. It doesn't feel like it always works. In those instances, it might have been more effective to have a different piece of music playing or no music at all. That would have actually just been just as effective. So that aside, I think the score is pretty sound. The other issue is that there are a couple instances of writing that don't feel as strong to me. The majority of it is there. There are just a couple instances in terms of the dialogue that felt like excuses for characters to say things with the intent to be resonant, but I don't know that always works. And I think it also would have been just better to have characters either not respond to certain things. I think characters not saying something is better than having a character respond to something in a way that feels like it's trying to be meaningful, like it's forced. So there are a couple instances of the writing feeling like that didn't jive with me. And there's probably one or two instances in terms of character. I speak specifically of the character of Denzel's wife, played by Ilfanesh Hedera, who she's good. There's two things I want to say about her. She's good. Number one, how she was written is inconsistent to me. There was a couple instances where she's written as this character who is the voice of reason, who keeps David on the right track. And yet, when things start getting more stressful, there are a couple instances where she's written in a way that feels not as decisive as she was prior to that. Before things go down, she's very intent on making sure David is keeping focused and making sure he's doing things that don't jeopardize the family and things that are happening for their situation. When things go down, that seems to be lost at certain instances. And then of course, her son is missing, so she's suitably hysterical and understandably so, and those things work. The second thing I want to say about her character is that I don't feel like Hedera was properly cast. I feel like, as good as she is in this movie, something about her optically didn't feel like she worked with Denzel for me. I would have preferred someone like Angela Bassett in the role, or Vanessa Bell Calloway. There's been plenty of other women, I think, that who could have played his wife just as convincingly, and to me would have felt more in line with the energy of the film, or the energy of that dynamic. And so that's just that's just me. I mean, she was good, but I think someone like Angela Bassett would have been better. But that's all really for the negatives. There's so much more positive stuff about this film to say that I think first and foremost, one of the most beautiful things about this movie is it feels like a quintessential New York story. If you've been to New York, you know what I'm talking about. There's a specific energy to that city that is just it's hard to quantify. And the movie is a good capsule of the energy of New York. I love that it has, Law and Order references, which is New York staple. If you know, there's an SVU reference in the movie, and by extension, you have even Dean Winters, who, if you know, was a fixture. It was a character on the first season of Law and Order SVU, and he's made appearances in later seasons of the show. And here he's playing a New York cop, and that's kind of cool. It's kind of this nice little New York reference in a New York movie that feels very New York. And there's a beautiful, visually stunning extended sequence in what looks to be like a Puerto Rican culture festival, and you have people like J-Lo in there and Anthony Ramos of Hamilton fame. I was very surprised that Lin-Manuel Miranda didn't show up. I feel like he's another person who who loves New York, and much of his personal stuff, a lot of his, are New York stories. He should have been in this movie. I wonder if he probably was just busy and he didn't want to show up, that's cool. Just as an aside, because if you don't know, Hamilton will be showing in theaters very soon, and I hope to get up there and catch it on the big screen as it was originally intended to be seen. But I digress from that. New York people need to be in New York situations, so I feel like he should have been in this movie just for 2 seconds. So yeah, that's great about the movie. The movie has good, of course, obviously great performances, solid performances. Obviously, Denzel Washington is unsurprisingly good. Jeffrey Wright is excellent. It's great to see them together and on the same level, playing with each other and acting off of each other. That was really cool to see. The biggest surprise for me was A$AP Rocky. Apparently he's worked on another movie prior to this. I didn't know that, and the name of the film escapes me. But he really surprised me in this movie. He was really good. You would have never known that he was not doing acting all the time. He just seemed like he seemed so comfortable. Acting against Denzel Washington, this dude is, very well done. He did an excellent job. And he was probably the standout of this movie. The soundtrack was strong. And some of it hit me personally, just emotionally. Like I mentioned at the top of this video, there's been a couple losses. The people who I lost, both of them were fans of James Brown, and James Brown features a couple times in this movie. And it really, it hit me, made me emotional, because I was hearing them enjoying not just the movie. One of them was a huge Denzel Washington fan, and both love James Brown, and one of them was a gentleman I worked with who every time we took a break, he would play James Brown, and specifically he would play the song "The Big Payback." He liked Elvis too, and he liked a couple other things, but James Brown was one of those things that every time we were on a lunch break, he would play payback, and he would put it on repeat almost the whole time. He listened to it like 2-3 times before he would switch it to Elvis or something else, but he was always the payback, big pay. So it's actually, this is the first time I'm actually smiling about them, thinking about working with them. And so the movie, so weird. I did not expect coming into this movie that I would be thinking about people who has sort of influenced me and shaped me, and two men I respect very much and have love for, to be reminded of them watching this movie. Did not expect that. So that's the other thing that added some extra emotional punch for me. This is a good movie. If you are curious about it, I say check it out because it's pretty good. So that's going to do it for this review. If you've stuck around to the end of this video, thank you for your time. I appreciate you sticking around and listening to me talk about this particular movie. I've seen a lot of movies since this one, and I'm hoping to get these ones out pretty quick, pretty soon. So stay tuned. We got more reviews coming. In the meantime, I'm getting out of here. Thank you for your time and take it easy. Please take care. And I'll see you in the next one.